Welcome to Cross Comparison, where we are exploring what's going on in the modern world and the modern church. In this video, we'll be looking at the similarities between the direct mail communications of two of today's notable televangelists, Rod Parsley and Peter Popoff. Now, I recognize these two are probably not thought to have any similarities, and it's true they are very different in their mannerisms and methods, but I think it's worth examining how the same end goal gets accomplished in dissimilar ways, using a little psychology with some religious jargon to keep both of their ministries flush with cash. First, we'll begin with Peter Popoff. I find the Peter Popoff saga a bit fascinating. Not the good kind of fascinating, unfortunately. No, it's definitely the bad kind of fascinating. People under, say, 40 will probably be asking, who's Peter Popoff? People over 40 will probably be asking, how is it Peter Popoff is still a thing? He was thoroughly exposed on national TV back in the 80s as a complete fraud. He was caught dead to rights wearing an earpiece, getting info about audience members through the earpiece from his wife backstage, and then acting like he was receiving revelatory information from God about his audience's lives and health conditions. I think not long afterward he filed for bankruptcy and I guess he laid low for a while, but he's back. Granted, it is far from the spotlight he once held, but still, how does someone so notorious for being a greedy fake get people even now to send him money? Even $1.
I don't know. I don't know.
In my curiosity, I did a thing I don't recommend, which is I went to Popoff's website and sent the form requesting his infamous Miracle Spring Water packet be mailed to me. I don't recommend anyone do this because who knows what mailing list you're going to end up on after old Pete sells your info. Once those floodgates are opened, you may have to end up taking some drastic action to make it stop. So again, don't do this. But if you do, don't. But if you do, just know the form has areas to enter name, address, email, phone, and prayer request. And I entered my name, address, and prayer request. That's it, not my email or phone. Those are not required to submit the form. I went to Rod Parsley's Breakthrough website, and while he does not offer miracle spring water, he will send 2 vials of Pentecost oil at your request. I submitted that form, waited a week or two, and am now in possession of 2 Pentecost oils and a miracle spring water packet. I don't know what I'm going to use these for. If they've been prayed over and blessed, maybe they could get rid of vampires if that's ever a problem. Or if I get a Geiger counter, I could use them to test it out. I don't know. My main interest is on the letters and less on the faith tools. I have looked over their letters and found that what I got from both Parsley and Popoff seemed to contain 3 basic components, not counting the faith tools themselves. The first component is what I'll refer to as the acknowledgement, which is what just gives you the sense that you now have something of a relationship with this man of God, or at least with his ministry. You two now have important work to do together as partners, and this is only the beginning. The second component I'll call the blessing. This is what your partnership will be accomplishing. This is what you're getting. It's a mystery check for 10 grand out of nowhere to be arriving in your mail any day, or it's a promise there are 10 children somewhere being fed, clothed, and trained for the ministry to win 1 billion lost souls someday, all because of your step of faith. It varies depending on where your priorities lie, but in some way you are receiving something you want. Then the third and final component I'll call the condition. This is the thing you are expected to do, the steps you must take in order to receive your blessing and fit into God's will as it is being uniquely fulfilled through the ministry. With all this in mind, let's see how the 2 acknowledgement components stack up against each other. First, let's look at Peter Popoff's acknowledgement, which came as a 4-page printed letter with added fake handwritten notes and asterisks and underlines. Actually, you could say Popoff's acknowledgement starts on the outside of the envelope, where he tries to make it look like he's written an extra note about money coming your way before he dropped the letter in the mail. It's shameless and it's stupid, but my guess is it's pretty effective because these ministries do not do anything in their marketing without first considering a return on investment. The intent here is to personalize the acknowledgement so much that it feels not just friendly, but that he was thinking about you specifically when he wrote the letter. You may think no one could possibly believe this is the case, but put yourself in the shoes of someone who's lonely. A widow, maybe her children live far away and don't keep in touch too often. She's getting older and doesn't go out a lot. She could get this letter and just from the sheer volume of it feel this is a real conversation almost. It doesn't take much enticement for a drowning person to reach out for something that looks like a lifeline to them. In my letter, my name was used 7 or 8 times in 4 pages, 5 of those being on the first page alone. Twice it's my full name. I find that sort of thing annoying, but other people will be drawn in by it. Rod Parsley's acknowledgement, on the other hand, doesn't have my name on it anywhere. It's not even a letter, it's printed on cardstock rather than paper. It has a little bit of a gloss to it and comes across more like an invitation or a business card in a way. I feel like somehow Rod's less aware of my existence now than before I requested the Pentecost oil. You can tell this is created for a different audience. It doesn't exclude the downtrodden and the lonely, but it's probably more for those who feel like their life just has a missing piece. Parsley has a more respectable sheen and isn't as scandal ridden as Popoff, and so his ministry's mailing reflects that. Does this mean it's not as high pressure in its tactics? Yes, in a way, but now let's compare the blessing component. On the first page of Popoff's letter, I am told my difficult situations will be swept away. I'll be led into deliverance. Evil holds on my life will be broken to release miracles of love, success, new health, and joyous living. New life will be brought to my dead situations. I will achieve success, get the results I want. The promises go on and on throughout the letter. I'm sure this sounds great to a great many of his followers. I found it also irritating I couldn't even be bothered to open the second letter containing the miracle water packet. Yes, a second letter. If I were to ever make another video on this topic, I guess I'd check it out then, but for now, just no. Looking at the blessing component from Parsley's letter, I have to say Parsley's pretty slick when it comes to talking about blessings here. While Popoff appeals to your own sense of need, Parsley asks, don't you want to help children and families survive drought and famine? The Lord Himself will repay your generosity. Well, that sounds nice, doesn't it? Does it still sound nice when I tell you Ministry Watch gives Breakthrough Ministries a transparency grade of F? And currently its donor confidence score sits at a 6 out of 100. But don't worry if you're concerned about giving, but you want to be sure you at least get something tangible out of it. You could always buy a devotional or a DVD set. Are these worth the $40 or $70 you'll donate, respectively? Only Rod knows. Which brings us to the final component, the condition. Parsley doesn't really hide the fact that he's basically just mailed you a few advertisements for his products. They look good, they have a bit of polish to them, they've got Rod's smiling face on them. He looks blessed, you want to be blessed too, so you buy the items he says will bless you. That's it, that's the condition. Rod sells, you buy. It's not a new trick, but old tricks are the best tricks, right? Popoff, on the other hand, front loads blessings in his letter, and in that way they seem like the no strings attached kind. By the time you get to the condition, you've been promised the world. So what's the condition? Only that you plant a wholly consecrated seed of $37. The idea is to show he could charge more, but he's not greedy, and he's spiritual minded because 3 is for the Trinity and 7 is for God's perfection. When it comes to giving in the name of God, it can be commendable when the money will reach where it's supposed to go. But when there are valid reasons why giving to a particular ministry might be foolhardy, where is the hesitation? Are we worried that second guessing any man of God is a sin? Are we trying to hit some Jesus jackpot by putting money into the right ministry at the right time? We have to ask ourselves, is proof this person handles donations with integrity easy to find or hard to find? Be honest, are you really even thinking about that part, or are you awaiting a payoff and that's where your focus is? Faith tools are sent for free to make you feel like you've been given something of value to increase the odds you'll reciprocate. It's a game and they know how to win. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for being here and God bless.